Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric here with Iraq Veteran 8888. All right, got some more 2A news here for you, and I apologize for the lack of content. I've had a heck of a lot of things going on, and I'm trying to get caught up, so I really appreciate you guys understanding, but we're going to get right back into the fray. And I've got an article here from Ammo Land that was written by Mr. Dean Weingarten, and it is entitled Success of Homemade Guns at Buyback Propaganda Events. I think you can see where this is going, but I thought it was well articulated, and it does make a very good point. So we are going to get into this one, of course. Before we do, I do want to thank our friends at Sonoran Desert Institute for supporting our videos. If you were looking for a career in the gunsmithing realm, they are definitely your go-to source. They've got some awesome distance learning programs. They've also got a bunch of great programs on flying drones, reloading, obviously plenty of gunsmithing things. And they have some awesome instructors, awesome curriculum. Check them out, Sonoran Desert Institute, SDI, and tell them that we sent you over. All right. Second Amendment activists have scored a victory in the battle to have reality influence the debate over gun culture in the United States. For years, those who want a disarmed population have attempted to demonize homemade firearms as ghost guns. They have claimed they are an existential threat to the people of the USA and the world. The claim is that the lack of a serial number somehow makes a gun more dangerous. Serial numbers are easy to remove. Homemade guns have existed since before the Republic was founded. Serial numbers were not required on firearms until 1968. The claim a few more guns that are not traceable is somehow a problem is not credible. Most guns in the USA are not traceable, whether they have serial numbers or not. The credible reason to require serial numbers on all guns is to enable gun registration, which enables gun confiscation. If ghost guns were a serious threat, they would be a high priority to be accepted at gun turn-in buyback events. In case you don't know what a gun buyback event is, what he's discussing is, so what will happen is various jurisdictions, their law enforcement officers will set up like tables and make a big announcement. And essentially what it is you can bring any firearm, no questions asked, to a gun buyback event, and they'll usually give you some form of a gift card. They used to do cash and things like that, but now it's usually like a $200 gift card or some sort of monetary value they give you in the form of a gift card, and you can bring the gun to them and turn it in, no questions asked, and receive money in return. So they call it a gun buyback. And I think the reasoning behind it is they want people to be able to get guns off their hands. Like if they want to get rid of a gun, it's a place they can get rid of a gun, and they'll ask no questions. So like even if you found a sawed-off shotgun in Uncle Bob's garage after he passed away, theoretically you could take it to a gun buyback and at least get $200 out of it, and they will get rid of it, no questions asked. That's the idea. It's a little more sinister than that, though. It really is just a form of gun control. It's their attempt to get guns off the streets, as they say. All right. El Paso will not accept ghost guns because ghost guns at these events show the futility of gun control. Accepting ghost guns quickly transfers the money from the event organizers to Second Amendment activists. The publicity of the ghost guns at gun buybacks destroys the propaganda effect of the event. On July 20th, 2022, a Second Amendment activist turned in at least 62 3D printed firearms in Houston, Texas. The event organizers paid out thousands of dollars. The publicity was priceless. On August 22nd, 2022, a Second Amendment activist executed a well-thought-out bit of activism in Utica, New York. The far-left attorney General James's office paid out over $21,000 for 110 3D printed ghost guns. I'm sure handing over $21,000 in gift cards to some punk kid after getting a bunch of plastic junk was a rousing success, laughed Kim. Gun buybacks are a fantastic way of showing, number one, that your policies don't work, and number two, you're creating perverse demand. You're causing people to show up to these events, and they don't actually reduce crime whatsoever. The AG said 177 ghost guns were paid for. There must have been more than just one Kim. Kim and company did their successful activism on August 22nd, 2022, just 2 months after the pivotal Supreme Court Second Amendment decision in Bruin. Before Houston and before Utica, several precursors turned in Slam-fire shotguns at buyback events. These extremely cheap, effective homemade firearms showed the entire concept of buyback events as a farce. The organizers of the recent El Paso event had to respond. They refused to accept ghost guns at their gun turn-in. Exactly what the pronouncement means is unclear. At a recent event in Dallas, police officers put down no serial number for guns made before 1968. This correspondent asks if guns made before 1968 without serial numbers were commonly encountered. The answer was a clear yes. Guns made before 1968 are a common occurrence. There are millions of guns legally in circulation which never had serial numbers because they were not required. In pre-1968 guns are no more or less dangerous than similar guns with serial numbers. The presence or lack of a serial number does not make a gun more or less dangerous. Second Amendment activists turned the tables on the silly fraud of gun buyback events. Paying people more than guns are worth is a propaganda effort. Paying people less than guns are worth is a cheat. The propaganda effect is neutralized and reversed by activists such as Kim and others. The organizers of the El Paso event have been forced to recognize the reality. Effective guns can be easily and cheaply made at home. Serial numbers do not prevent criminals from obtaining firearms. Private buyers at these events have a similar effect to those turning in homemade guns. The events are street theater designed to convey the message that guns are bad, you should turn them in. Private buyers send a different message. Guns are valuable. We pay cash. The recent flurry of gun buyback events is fueled by cheap government money, part of trillions of dollars created by the Biden administration. By creating monetary inflation, the money is driving up the cost of food, fuel, and housing. A few Second Amendment activists are obtaining some good guns at a low cost as a side effect. Very cool stuff. You know, I have always maintained the idea that the whole idea of gun buybacks is kind of a random idea. I mean, I've seen gun buybacks where people turn in lightning links, which are drop-in machine gun sears, right? And I've seen situations where they will get $200 gift card for every single one of those lightning links that they print on their 3D printer. It literally costs pennies, like 5 or 6 cents worth of material to print one, and then they turn around and get a $200 gift card. So the man is mad that you can make a gun that is way, 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 way cheaper than $200 and then turn around and take them for $200. And really what they want are firearms that are, let's just say, produced in the traditional way. They want to see AR-15s and AKs, and they think that someone is dumb enough to bring $1,000 Daniel Defense or something like that. Or, you know, well, Daniel Defense costs a lot more than that, but I digress. You know, they want to see you bring the good stuff and give it to them for $200, because what they really want to do is they want to treat this whole thing like a giant guilt trip. They want to play on someone's, you know, guilt, or they want to make someone feel guilty about being a gun owner and go, well, maybe I should go turn my gun in, but at least I can get $200 out of it. And they figure, well, I'll just go turn it in and I'll get rid of this gun, and in the process, I'll at least get a little bit of money. And there are situations where people take guns to buybacks and sell them for a $200 gift card and get took big time. And they simply don't care, you know. To be fair, I completely understand. Like if someone was, let's just say, you were left a gun by a relative and you're not a gun person and you don't want it in your house. Okay, I could understand why, you know, the idea of going to a gun buyback and just getting rid of it would be, you know, an attractive idea, just to relieve yourself of the burden of ownership and the responsibility of ownership of that firearm. I could understand the angle, I suppose. But I would suggest, if you are going to get rid of a gun like that, I wouldn't do it at a gun buyback, because you're only going to get $200. If you've got, you know, grandpa's old SKS or any type, I mean, look, there's a lot of guns that are worth more than $200. Okay. So unless it's a broke piece of crap, now, if you were cleaning out, you know, Uncle Bob's garage after he passed away and you found a stripped, you know, rifle action or something that, you know, was some rare, I don't know, obscure old gun, and you don't know what it is, and you're like, you know what, this isn't worth the effort to try to put a stock and trigger and put the gun back together, and you just want to take that to a gun buyback and just get rid of it so you don't have to worry about it. Okay, fine, whatever, right? But the majority of guns out there, a lot of them are worth more than $200. So if you have something that, you know, I would I would definitely go out of your way to make sure it's valuable, and do a little research. And if it's worth a lot more, sell it on the private market or take it to a gun store. They'll give you a lot more for it than a buyback will. Buybacks are purposely set up to make someone feel guilty for being a gun owner and to demonize the idea of gun ownership and to create a public spectacle, right? That it has a propaganda effect in being a spectacle in of itself. Someone drives down the road and they see people standing in line with guns to turn them in, and it creates in their mind an era of, well, gosh, do I need to sell my gun and get rid of it? Like, I mean, why are people doing this? So it creates an air, and it also, for certain communities, when they see the police collecting guns, even though they're buying them back, in their mind they go, well, they're doing something about gun violence. But of course, they're not smart enough to realize that's not going to really fix anything, So anyway, I wanted to share this little op-ed here because I thought it was a great piece here. And look, there is a lot of prevalence in the 3D printing world. There's a lot of awesome stuff that people are making, and I want to give props to those guys. Like, there are so many folks in the 3D printing community that are coming up with some truly unique stuff. They're taking some of those legacy traditional designs, and they're doing a lot of cool things with them. And look, the future of gun design, just in general, and coming up with really cool ideas. Look, 3D printing paves the way to come up with some really cool ideas. So never discount that idea. If you ever have a chance to shoot someone's 3D printed gun, you should try it. It's really neat. And there's certainly nothing wrong with making your own firearm. We've been doing it for years as a country. It's commonplace. It's common. So don't ever let anybody let you think that it is wrong to 3D print your own firearms. And hey, anytime we can punch the man in the ribs and get a little money out of him, I think that was smart what he did there. He got him $21,000. So he turned in some 3D printed guns, got $21,000 in gift cards. Well, you can turn that into a Daniel Defense Mark 18 and a Scar Heavy and, some good proper stuff. So good thinking on his part there. That was a good way to troll him. I hope y'all have a great day. Many more videos on the way. Look, we've been real busy. There's been a lot going on behind the scenes, but we do have a lot more content on the way, and I really appreciate your patience. I apologize for the lack of posting, but we are getting back to it, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon.